Episode 3, The Marriage Contract. 5 days passed, and Haley was now inside a luxurious car, heading towards a place she didn't even know. Her brother was now safe. He was recovering in the hospital when she left him. Haley broke down in tears when the doctors assured her that he was now stable and safe. She felt like a huge thorn was stabbed in her chest, was painfully pulled out, and she could finally breathe again. The day she signed the contract, Haley herself was stunned by how fast things went through. Her brother was instantly transferred to the country's most expensive hospital. He was treated as if he was an heir of some rich family. His room didn't even look like it was in a hospital. Rather, it looked like a presidential suite. Haley only asked them to save him. She didn't ask them to treat him like a prince or anything. Even she was no exception, because she was also strangely being treated like a princess. But then, Haley couldn't even pay any attention to the sudden extravagance she was suddenly experiencing. She just didn't care anymore. What was important to her was nothing but her brother's safety. After his brother's successful surgery, Haley was brought to an empty church for her wedding. The church was filled with white flowers. It almost looked like a fairy's den. Every corner was beautifully designed with lavish and expensive materials. Her dress was nothing like a wedding gown. It was an evening gown, designed with real gems. Her long, straight black hair was dancing gracefully like a black silk waterfall. Everything she wore, everything she saw around was insanely unreal. She looked like a princess in the realm of the gods. She was breathtakingly beautiful and looking pure as snow. But despite all this lavishness and extravagance, the magical hall was empty. She was alone. The wedding contract was already signed by a nameless someone. There was no printed name written before the signature. And yet, Haley was strangely calm throughout the whole process. The guards were outside, so no one could see her. She stared at her soon-to-be husband's signature for a long moment. Then, she lifted the white folder she was holding. It was the folder she signed days ago, that she hadn't even read yet. The groom wasn't there, nor the priest, so Haley read. She went straight to the front page, then read the whole contract aloud. The contract didn't look like a joke at all, but she was smiling. The document almost looked like it was some sort of government confidential file. The only thing weird was that the content felt like a joke to her. The contract stated that she will be heading to her husband's mansion 5 days after her contract signing. She will become a wife until she bears a child. And after giving birth, the child won't be hers. That was all. Nothing was written about what will happen after she gave birth. Basically, her only mission was to give her husband a child. However, the rules were even more strange, especially the last one. Rule number 4. You are not allowed to see your husband's face. Haley didn't know how to react. She was speechless. The most important note on the last page also stated that if she broke any of those rules stated, it would cost her contract termination in jail or her life. Her mind was full of curiosity, and at the same time, uneasiness and bitterness. She couldn't help but feel like she was no longer the girl she knew. She couldn't help but wonder why she ended up in a situation like this. She couldn't help but think about what was waiting for her. But after a moment, she still went and signed the marriage certificate without batting an eye. She knew that it was foolish for her to even think about backing off now. After she signed it, she smiled bitterly. She couldn't believe that she was already married to a man she had never even seen. And what was worse, she might really never see his face at all.